is Paula. Paula's 9 years old. And her favorite subject is math. In 2 weeks, her teacher will invite her to join her school's first LEGO League team. 2 months after that, she'll use basic coding to bring her idea to life. In a year, she'll meet her best friend at a regional first robotics tournament. 2 years after that, she'll lead a team that wins 3rd place in a global innovation challenge. When Paula graduates college, she'll intern for an engineering firm improving water service solutions in developing countries. She'll see the world. 1 year later, she'll land her first job as an electrical systems engineer. 6 years after that, she'll win a Genius Award for her work in renewable energy. 20 years later, she'll show her daughter how to follow in her footsteps. FIRST supports kids who dream big. Your support makes those dreams a reality. Visit firstinspires.org to learn more.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome first LEGO League team member and student at PS 110 Florence Nightingale School, Savannah.
Please welcome Don Bosing, President of FIRST, to present the Evelyn Kamen Rising Star Award.
I don't get the box. Good evening. And on behalf of FIRST, I'd like to thank each of you for joining us this evening and for generously supporting the work we're doing here in New York City, throughout this country, and around the world. Now, my job as president of FIRST provides me with a lot of really cool and unique experiences and opportunities. However, none of them gives me as much pleasure as my role here tonight, when I get to introduce and recognize one of our stellar alumni, Chelsey Roebuck, who is Chelsey is using the skills and passion that he gained as a member of a FIRST team to profoundly impact the lives of young people here in New York City and in many other countries. I'm extremely grateful that our alumni network is brimming with young people like Chelsey, who are not only well-equipped to tackle any challenge, but they're using those hard-earned skills to truly make the world a better place. After participating on a FIRST robotics competition team in Philadelphia, Chelsey went on to graduate from Columbia University with a degree in mechanical engineering. He developed a passion for education and international development, which led him to co-found a not-for-profit organization called ELITE, an organization that has pioneered hands-on STEM and computer science programs in low-income communities throughout Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and here in New York City. Remember, he's only 29 years old, so we'll have to wait another 6 years before he can even run for president. Tonight, I'm honored to present Chelsey Roebuck with the Evelyn Kamen Rising Star Award, to recognize his efforts to lead students into brighter lives and exciting futures. And as proud as I am of Chelsey's efforts and accomplishments, I know there are a few people here tonight who are even prouder. Those include his parents and his 99-year young grandmother who came here to be with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming, congratulating, and thanking Chelsey for his terrific contributions to making the world a better place.
Thank you for this wonderful honor. Big shoes to fill. It's a real privilege to share this evening with so many friends and family, but I especially want to thank and recognize Pat Daly, Executive Director of First NYC, and Katie Knight, Deputy Director of the Siegel Family Endowment, for being true friends and champions of our work over the past few years. I'd also like to recognize my 99-year-old grandmother, Addie Roebuck, who's here with us in the audience today. Much of the work that my nonprofit Elite does on a weekly basis centers around creating equity and improving access for opportunity youth attending public schools in New York City and around the world. When I think about the America that my grandmother was born into in 1918, or even her graduation from Howard University in 1938, which, by the way, was attended by her grandparents, who were freed slaves. I'm reminded that progress takes a lot of hard work and time. This week, our esteemed guest kicked off his foundation's first summit. In his address yesterday, stated, "Hope does not mean that tomorrow everything's gonna be better. Change is possible if we put our shoulder to the wheel, but it doesn't happen overnight." This message resonates with me as it reinforces my vision for the grassroots community impact that Elite has begun to realize over the past few years. Elite, or Emerging Leaders in Technology and Engineering, is a Harlem-based youth development organization that uses STEM education to empower students from underserved communities to realize their academic and career potential. Elite partners with public schools to increase the school's capacity to deliver engaging STEM programs as a part of their regular school curriculum. Elite's programs develop leadership skills while promoting creative problem solving, computational thinking, social responsibility, and using hands-on engineering and code writing projects. What differentiates our work from others engaged in the STEM education space is that our commitment to impacting communities by making a deep investment in the lives of each of the young people that we support. You've been introduced to, or will get the chance to hear from, some of the youth that we support in Harlem this evening. And while they all have different stories and experiences, FIRST Robotics is the common thread woven into each of their stories. I was introduced to robotics by my 6th grade math teacher, Rob Irvin. Rob was one of the most influential teachers that I've ever had and helped me to realize that I could be successful in STEM, but also that I could build a ton of really cool stuff in the process. By 9th grade, at the private school that I attended in Philadelphia, which by the way, I attended from kindergarten to 12th grade, the school had just launched an FRC team, and it made it all the way to the final match of the World Championships in its second year. Quickly, the team outgrew the server closet that was once home for the first 2 years, and the rest was 12-18 chairman's history. Throughout college, I stayed connected to First, taking annual trips back to school when the new game was released, and checking in regularly throughout the build season as a supporter and mentor. I'm sure my high school robotics coach who's with us tonight, Peter Randall, still remembers the frantic 3 a.m. email and 7 a.m. phone call to let him know that my mother was waiting outside of the high school that morning to collect a new FRC controller because the controller they'd lent me earlier that year to complete my capstone engineering project at Columbia had been destroyed when a classmate tripped over my wall painting robot in the middle of the night. Mr. Randall came through, my mother made it to Columbia in record time from Philly, and I was able to graduate with a functioning wall painting robot. When I reflect on my first experience and the supportive and communal environment that I was raised in, I can't ignore the obvious racial and socioeconomic disparities that I internalize each day. Throughout middle and high school, I was the only student of color in any of my advanced classes. And at FRC competitions, I'd sometimes walk around in my varsity sports sweatshirt with the hood up, wondering if anyone else in the Georgia Dome felt the way that I felt, not seeing many students who looked like me. So it was a powerful experience to walk into the Frederick Douglass Academy in Harlem years later and see the cool kids walking the halls of the school in their robotics hoodies with confidence and swagger, like the football team that had just won the homecoming game. Being welcomed into and experiencing the community that Frederick Douglass Academy robotics coach Joel Bianchi has built for the Harlem Knights has inspired me to create more pathways for students like me to feel comfortable and confident in their pursuit of STEM careers. For many students, myself included, First was a vehicle that helped to create a spark while developing values and traits such as gracious professionalism, cooperation, and grit. And I'm excited to partner with First this year as a STEM Equity Community Innovation grantee to help spread the vehicle to impact more students like Mia, Diogo, Denasia, Malachi, Jessica, and Michael, who are all here tonight. I think I speak for the entire community when I thank all of you for your support and generosity this evening and being a true partner in making these experiences more inclusive. I'm excited to see First continue to impact the lives of so many others just as it has my own. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome First alum and engineering student at Columbia University, Michael.
All right. So, good evening, all. I would first like to take the time and thank you all for coming out here on short notice. Your support is very much appreciated by me and students like me from New York City. So, as you've heard before, my name is Michael Stone. Hi. And as you can guess, I'm also a First alum. I have been a part of First for over 4 years now, and right now, even when I'm a freshman in Columbia College, I still go back and visit my freshman alum back in FD8. I'm sure you're all eager to know the story of someone like me who seems like he's made it big. However, if I'm being honest with you all, I would have never imagined that I would be here in the position I am today. Back then, I thought the only future that lay before me was living on the streets. I was born in a very poor household, and a very abusive one at that. My father was a mad drunk who never spared the opportunity to give me and my mother a beating. I lived in total fear during that time, and that fear only worsened when I had 4 younger brothers who I desperately tried to protect. After years of abuse and coming very close to losing my life more times than I can remember, me, my siblings, and my mother fled home, our home on Long Island, and came to New York City. At the age of 10, I was homeless, starved, cold, and forgotten. I lived in horrible ghettos, was surrounded by drugs, gang fights, and so much more that I'm afraid to tell. I wanted so desperately to be free, and I remember my mother always telling me, do good in school, so that one day I can change my life for the better. That was exactly what I did. I spent the remainder of my elementary school days and middle school days working as hard as I possibly can. I want to live a better life and give my siblings a role model that they can look up to. However, I was always reminded by a harsh reality. Back then, it seemed to me, no matter how hard I worked, people didn't notice my accomplishments, but instead noticed where I came from, my situation, and how poor I was. Despite my work, I would be told the only future I looked forward to was either jail or the streets. Those people were wrong. My life perspective all changed in my freshman year of high school, when I had accidentally walked into my robotics school room and was immediately absorbed into FIRST. In this one room and in FIRST, I found everything I needed to make my dream a reality. I found a teacher who I revere as a father. I found a mentor who looks after me even until this day in college. And I found a support group that can always fall back on when I need help. From that freshman year in high school, I took off. Before I knew, I was building robots, making brain-controlled game consoles, and doing research in university laboratories. Thanks to FIRST, by the time I was a senior in high school, I knew how to program, make functional circuits, and make mechanical structures. Yeah? With these newly attained skills, I tried my shot at applying at one of the best schools in the world, and made it. Fast forward to today, I am now a proud Columbia engineering student who is getting his butt kicked in physics and chemistry. I still use all the skills I've learned in FIRST. I'm even trying to start my own company about the opioid crisis that Obama mentioned earlier. As of right now, and as for my bright future, I hope to one day have a similar impact on the world as FIRST has had. I want to give other kids like me the one thing I needed back then I was younger, and that was a chance to prove myself. Thank you all for listening.
I met Michael Stone a couple days ago up at Frederick Douglass Academy on 148th Street. And let me tell you something. When he walked into the robotics room, it was his first time back at school since he left for Columbia. He was like the Justin Bieber of science. I joke you not. A girl jumped up and grabbed him like this. I couldn't believe it. It was so cool. And the point is, we sat and we talked, and that young man went from a homeless shelter to being at Columbia University as a freshman working on a project, a nationwide project, to try to find a technological solution to the opioid epidemic. Think about that narrative arc. Think about that narrative arc. And you know what? You know what helped propel him to do that? Everybody in this room. Everybody in this room is part of the FIRST community. Everyone here is part of the FIRST family, and that's what families do. They give you opportunities. They open doors, and that young man walked through it. How many more Michael Stones are out there? Too many. How many more can we help? That's your decision. Next few minutes, we're going to try to raise another $250,000. I don't have any more clocks to sell, no more Lego sets. But if you could hold up your hand at the highest level and see how many of the next Justin Bieber of sciences we can give the opportunities to. So at the top level, if you can hold up your hand at $25,000.
Excuse me. What did Reagan say? I bought this microphone or something? Before I let him allow you the opportunity to support FIRST, it occurred to me we have to do a few things, if that's all right with you. In fact, we're going to do them whether it's right with you or not. I was sitting at a table, and my guess is every table here has some extraordinary people. You've self-selected to be extraordinary. But around my table, I saw, first of all, Bill Ackman, who I'm sitting next to. I want to thank you, although you got a great deal on that clock, Bill. But thank you. That's enough to sponsor a regional somewhere. But next to Bill is John Kamen, who did that video, and then the follow-up video. John, thank you. Next to him, David Siegel, last year's honoree, a co-chair this year, and some of the incredible people he has that, among others, are helping people that need prosthetic limbs. As I go around the table, though, there's Will I Am, who I'm sitting next to. Will, you helped make it loud, and you're here, and thank you, Will. And while I say something about the next couple of people, it occurred to me, this FIRST is amazing because it brings together the best of the best. Whether you like his policies or philosophy or not, think about what the President of the United States, former President, just said. But in this room, there are scientists, there are engineers, there are financial people. And one of the people that I invited, along with Will, who flew in from California, is Jimmy Demers. Where are you, Jimmy? Is Jimmy here? Get over here. But we bring people from the sciences, engineering, and the arts. But next to me, at that same table, my one table, I have people representing Irwin and Paul Jacobs and Qualcomm, Matt Grob and some of his people, who have literally made FIRST possible from a technical point of view. Thank you, Matt, for being here. Thank you, Qualcomm. Oh, and sitting next to him at my table is the governor of the state of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. Thank you, Governor, for coming. I know we're on a short schedule, and I'm sure all the FIRST people are freaking out that I took this microphone. I'm very sorry. But before I let you take over, one of the things Bill Ackman pointed out was we could get somebody to spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a FIRST Lego League kit, but we could probably ask everybody here to buy at least one for themselves because they're pretty cool. That's appropriate price. But to get you in the mood for what's about to come, which is probably the most valuable piece of the evening, where all of you get to make a commitment to FIRST, especially after hearing a former president of the United States talk about how valuable and critical this investment is and why you should feel it's a patriotic thing to do, and to show you that we as science and engineering people also appreciate the arts. I'm going to ask my friend Jimmy Demers to come up and just, with no background music whatsoever, sing a song. Because he's really an inspiring guy, and FIRST needs that. and then I will return this to you.
Thank you, Dean. Careful. I just want to say that a couple years ago, I had the good fortune of sitting across from President Obama. And I said to him, I said, what do you want to be remembered for? And I'll never forget it. He looked down for a second and he looked at me and he said, I want to be remembered as a kind person. And I just thought, wow, isn't that interesting that the most powerful man in the world wants to be remembered as a kind person. And so I just want to, in the spirit of kindness, remind us all that what's achieved by any one of us is potentially accessible to every one of us. And so I would like to dedicate this song to my brother Dean. Thank you for all you do and for all you've done and for inspiring me. And I will do my best to sing you a little song to hopefully lift your spirits. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, through the mountains and the prairies and the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet home. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dean. I love you. Bill, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Look, I know you all wished me luck earlier, but would you do it again? How am I supposed to follow that? So, last year, the Harlem Knights, the first team that Michael Stone was the captain of, they upset one of the highest ranked robotics teams in the world from Australia. A school on 148th Street in Lenox beat a team that had competed on 4 continents. And I think about that, I think about first, and I think about the refrain, God bless America. That's a beautiful thing right there. Let's invest in these kids. Let's invest in this next generation, because that is a blessing right there. And if you can start at the highest level and you can put up your hand at that $25,000 pledge, there's been a lot that's inspiring here tonight. Let's return that right now. Sir, that's one right there. Thank you very much. $25,000, thank you. Who will match that pledge of $25,000? That's 2 right there. 1 and 2. Thank you. That's $50,000 raised. Sir, that's 3 at table 33. Thank you. That's $75,000 raised. Who will put up his or her hand at $25,000 to get us to $100,000 right now? One more. One more to get us to $100,000 at this juncture. Madam, you helped me out to start the evening and you're helping close it. Thank you so much. At table 42, thank you, thank you, thank you. The best earrings I've seen all season. That's $100,000 raised. And this gentleman right here, that's $25,000 right there. Who brought their TI-83 calculator? That's $125,000 raised. Nicely done. One more $25,000 pledge will get us to within $100,000 of our goal. Is there one more? And I swear to you, if you have any liquid left on your table, finish it now. It makes it easier. Is that, oh, no, she was just waving. She just was excited. Is there, oh, there is one. Thank you so very much. At table 16, $150,000 has been raised. I had a second triple espresso. And for those keeping track at home, that's 6 espressos. I'm now going to take it down to the $10,000 level. If you can hold up your hand and make a $10,000 pledge, please do so now. We have raised $150,000 in the last 3 minutes. Let's hit that $250,000 mark. Let's invest in these young people. Let's invest in the next generation of Michael Stones. Let's science our way into the future. It's a phenomenal verb. At the $10,000 level, who will be our first at $10,000 to put up his or her hand? Do not be shy. Thank you, sir. That's 1 right there. Thank you so much. That's 2 right there. I see 3 right there. That was 1, 2, 3. Who will make it 4 and 5? Who will make it 4 and 5 right now? That's 180. Sir, right there, thank you. That's $190,000 raised. Who will bring us to $200,000 right now? Sir, here on the front, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's, oh, there's another one right there. That's 1 and 2 right there, which brings us to $210,000. Nicely done. Oh, we're gonna get there. We're going to get there. Is there anybody else? Did I see one more over here? I did see one more over here. Sir, thank you very much. That's $10,000 more. That's $220,000. I don't have the word no in my heart if anybody else wants to jump into 10,000. Only yes. I'm now going to take it down to the $5,000 level. If you can hold up your hand, make a pledge at $5,000. That's 1 right there. Thank you. That's 2 right here. Thank you. That's 3 right there. Thank you. That's 4 right there. Thank you. All the way back there, that is 5. That is a good bidding technique. I like that. Making it easier for our volunteers to come over. That's 5 right there. Thank you. Sir, that is 6 right there. Thank you. Look, there's a lot of math people in this room. There's a lot of math people in this room. And I'm actually thankful that all of you are sitting down, because the next words out of my mouth are going to shock you. But we have just raised $250,000 in the last 7 minutes. We have just done that, because $220,000 plus 6 pledges at $5,000 is exactly $250,000. What we have done is we have matched expectations. Michael Stone, who you saw speak here tonight, his life is exemplary of exceeding expectations. Chelsey Roebuck, who you saw speak before him, that young man, he is here tonight with his mother and his grandmother. His grandmother is 99 years old. She is the oldest living graduate of Howard University. He comes from a distinguished line of educators. And now, as an educator himself, working with these first kids. And so, for Chelsey, for Michael, for Malachi, who got to give a dap to President Obama on stage in front of all you, all they do is exceed expectations. And so, again, this is gonna shock you. But just because we hit $250,000 and we hit expectations, look, Dean and the whole First family, they're not gonna say no. But every dollar raised from here on out is doing the same as those people, everybody you've seen on this stage, exceeding expectations. So I'm now gonna take it down to the $2,500 level. Can we get to a $300,000? Can we make that happen? Plus the clock would be $500,000 raised tonight. So if you can hold up your hand and make a $2,500 pledge, please do so now. We will keep. I have one right there, thank you. I have two right there, thank you. I have three right here, thank you. I have four right here, thank you. That's $260,000 raised. Keep them coming. At the $2,500 level, let's do this. Let's now take it down to the $1,000 level. If we get 100% participation at $1,000, that's an additional $400,000 raised. I see, sir, that's one right there, thank you. Two right there, thank you. Three right there, thank you. Four right there, thank you. Five right there, thank you. Six right there, thank you. Seven right there, thank you. The $1,000 level, I see 8 right there, thank you. 9 right there, thank you. 10 right there, thank you. 11 right there, thank you. 12 right there, thank you. 13 right there, thank you. 14 right there, thank you. I see 15 back there. $275,000 raised, ladies and gentlemen. You all are having a great Thursday night. Phenomenal. Now we're going to take it to our last level, the $500 level. If you can hold up your hand, make a $500 pledge. I see 1, thank you so very much. I see 2, thank you so very much. I see 3, thank you so very much. I see 4 right there. I see 5 right there, thank you. I see 6 right there, thank you. And I see 7 right there, thank you. And so here's the thing. At this stage, everybody who checked in, I don't think anybody snuck in. The Secret Service was here earlier. There's nobody sneaking in. You all have now received a text message on your phone from 501 Auctions. You have the ability through that link to make a donation between $1 and $1 million, and we will not say no to any of those donations. But when Dean tomorrow sees the numbers, I want him to be so hung over with gratitude, because we really did get as close to 100% participation as possible. But tonight, through the donations of the Lego set, the clock, and the pledge, we eclipsed $500,000. That is absolutely incredible. Let's science our way into the future. Stay part of this community. Stay part of this family. Thank you so very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome first LEGO team member and student at Urban Assembly Academy for Future Leaders, Diogo, and first alum and computer science student at Hunter College, Jessica.
Hello, everyone. Before I even start, can I please give a round of a hand for all the people ahead of me that was brave enough to come up here and actually give them a hand. Give them a hand. But in all seriousness, the first Lego League game was fun and informational for me. I had tools ahead of me so I can understand how to code, how to build a robot. It's just how I did it. Now, even though I want to be a football player, I know that, I like to play football. Now I know I can find scholarships to great colleges to code and build robots in the future. I thank you so much for being here and your gratitude. And Jessica, go.
We hope that you have had a great time this evening. For me, FIRST is about more than just building robots. It's about finding a place and finding people where you feel like you belong, Without FIRST, I wouldn't be able to stand before you today as a computer science major at Hunter College. So on behalf of all the alumni and all the students, we would like to express our thanks for all of your generosity. I hope you have a great night.